Warning. What you are about to see and hear is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed on the show are our opinions and do not reflect the views of BTW21 or its staff. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel and Chad.
God is looking for someone real. People are looking for something real. Just be real. Welcome to the Be Real. Welcome to Be Real, the podcast. Your host, Daniel Lewis, Brother Chad Hudson.
Hello.
Yes, we're here with a couple of guests today. So thankful for this guy. He's not only a guest, but a great friend of ours. And we get to kind of interview him today really. Of course, in ICW, we've had the wrestlers out here. He is one of the main leaders, I think, board for NICW and everything. But I've wanted him to be able to come out here and to be able to speak for who he is, because he's got a lot of great things going on. Patrick County, Franklin County, Henry County. He's got the martial arts going on. I mean, we're going to let him talk about it. I love it. Thank you, Scott.
Hey,
appreciate you being out here, man.
It's always
and
fun.
You got your lovely wife out here too. I mean, it's you got to have that main support. And from what I've seen, support is everything. And so we're great to have you out here. I just want to learn a little bit more about yourself. Not just we've had you, of course. I think third time. We've won two.
But that was all wrestling.
It was all wrestling stuff.
And we might get into that and promote some stuff. But
actually, yes.
It would be nice to meet you. It would be nice for the people to
know a local businessman who is doing great things. He taught my grandson karate.
Great things with the youth. I mean, that's important in our community.
Right. So, welcome, Scott Rotter.
Well, thank you for having us. I mean, it's always fun coming out here. And
if you get a little bit closer, I'm sorry, man.
Little different coming.
Scoot that thing, man. Scoot it.
It's a little different coming out here to doing this, like to be myself versus coming out here as
the dragon. The dragon.
But
the dragon, Scott Lee.
You're right.
But yeah, you guys are right. I appreciate you guys having me again and having us on.
I appreciate you, man.
Happy to have my wife here with us. She's got a lot going on as well, and she's a big part of making.
We got two babies going on.
Making the life of Scott Rutter and
three.
Rutter's Martial Arts and NICW.
Three.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, she has a lot to do with making the wheel turn and making the businesses and making everything go as smoothly as it does as well.
Right.
And I think people really need to know that. I mean, they have that saying, behind every great man's a great woman, but there's truth to that.
That's right.
And it's not just taking care of the kids, or it's not just cooking, it's not just cleaning, it's not all of that. But men really need a strong woman to have their back.
Amen.
And any successful man, I guarantee you, there's a strong woman behind him.
You always see them.
So what was your name, and say hello again? I mean,
yes, right there's your camera.
You could say hello.
There it is.
Over there. I'm Roxanna Rutter.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello. And you got the two babies at home.
Yep.
How old are they?
Kenna turns 1 tomorrow. And
oh, yeah.
Oh,
well, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. That's great.
So this is Tuesday.
Well,
but we're showing it on Thursday. So
it will be yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday yesterday.
That's great.
I love it.
So she's 1.
And Jacqueline's 4.
And
wow.
4. That's great.
I love it. It's great stuff.
4-year-olds are fun.
Yeah, they are.
They're
So take us back, man. So where, we know that you do martial arts, of course. It's a great thing. And of course the wrestling. But where are you from? Let me just do that. Let's do this.
Well, it's like
if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Well, born and raised, born in Martinsville, of course. And,
Really?
Grew up in Bassett, Sanville area.
Yeah.
Most of my life, and pretty much graduated from Bassett High School for class of 2002.
Yeah.
So grew up in Bassett and spent most of my time growing up in all over the place, from Stewart to Patrick County to Franklin County, Floyd, been all over the place.
Right.
But
I think that's where a lot of people don't understand is if you're from Bassett or you're from Stewart, you're from Martinsville, it's really the same area.
It's all the same
You know,
area.
the same people,
Right.
The same cultures, the same, and I and Daniel were both born in Martinsville here.
Right.
So,
Well, think about how it was back, 20 some plus years ago. It was, oh, you went to Bassett. Oh man, you didn't make
River
somebody.
Rat.
Yeah, River Rats and the Cavaliers and the Bulldog. Everybody's a fusion now. It's
It seems like Bassett or Collinsville is always against Martinsville.
Yeah, but like you guys said, like if you grew up in Bassett for a long amount of time, you've been around Patrick County, you've been around Martinsville.
right.
You're all
That's
it's
Smith
all
River.
Right, it's one big group.
Definitely tough. So what got you into martial arts? Let's just start right there, because I know before you graduated, you were in martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So
I actually started in martial arts when I was 3 years old.
wow,
My father was an instructor, taught Japanese Shotokan karate.
really?
He also taught a system of WTF.
Shout out his name. Sorry.
Grandmaster H.J. Rutter. He passed away.
Yeah.
We lost him back in 2008. He had cancer. But he was originally from Tennessee, from near Bristol, Johnson City, Tennessee.
Oh, really?
And he was doing, I think it was Shotokan, if I remember correctly, there. And trained for many years there. Him and his family, when he was a teenager, they had moved here to Martinsville. Then he started picking up. It was a Taekwondo studio here, and he did that for a while and kept up with both systems and both stuff.
You're a young boy,
Right,
3 years old, getting into it.
Right. So so when I came up, he also was. He did martial arts. Of course, he had a job. He was working for, like, it was Martin Processing or something like that back here many years ago. I think Eastman's now.
Yeah.
He did a lot of that, and he spent a lot of time with horses. He was a world champion in Western show class and
Really?
and horse shows and.
Oh wow!
Now, did you pick any of that up? Or you?
When I was younger, it was I loved horses. I loved being around them. Loved the he also did cattle, raised them too, and I loved that. I loved
Like
the aspects
large
of
dogs,
it. Yeah.
I've heard.
loved
Large dogs.
Loved that life. Loved it, but I was more into the martial arts. But it was like, okay, we're gonna get into the showing of the horses and going through all that. I was all about riding the horses. I was about
Really?
feeding them,
Right.
riding them, having fun with them. But I didn't want to do all that.
Do all the shows.
Martial arts was kind of what I ended up gotten into, and then when I started getting really heavy into it, then
So you
gave up
stuck
the
with
horses.
that throughout your teenage years up until graduation. You was still
Right, I did a few
doing it.
sports and things like that, and in school, baseball and basketball, things like that.
Oh,
But
a
just
sports
never.
guy.
But it was martial arts was always my thing. you know,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but yeah, I stayed with that from the time I was from 3 years old all the way up to now. I've never stopped.
Now you say the martial arts from where you started. Of course, your dad's doing it, but did it have anything to do with self-defense? Let me just say that. Was there a need? I know a lot of people got into martial arts because they
They got their butt kicked somewhere.
Well,
and they want to
not
protect
necessarily
themselves,
that.
or
Yeah.
See-
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it was bullies in school,
Right.
and I never was the bully fan. I can't stand bullies to this day. But I mean, I grew up over a period of time. I was like 5'5". All of a sudden, I was 6'5", and I come back and I said, I need to protect these people.
Right.
I need to protect these
I
other
never-
people that are
I
coming.
didn't, like I said, because my father had started me in it got me involved when I was young. It was like a way of life for me.
Oh.
So it was like, okay, well, this is normal. So this is
Right.
what we do. We go to class, we train.
But
we
it never
do that.
was the fight thing. It was
never
the
that.
protect
It was
thing.
right, and that was always
Protection.
what was always installed in us at that really young age, and what I install in my students is now is it's
Protection.
about protection. It's about self-defense, about defending yourself.
Yes.
It's never about going out there and being a bully.
Right.
Of course,
right.
just like anything growing up in school, elementary, middle, things like that, people find out you're doing martial arts, they're going to try.
Right.
They're going to try to
Test
be a
you.
bully and test you and things like
Yeah.
that. That's always that's That was normal.
Normal. Yeah.
But yeah, for me growing up and getting started initially, it wasn't about, it was just, hey, it's
That's
a way
cool,
of life.
man.
And then we kept it more, it's all about defense.
Right.
I have
love it.
I have a sister who just had a birthday the day before Valentine's Day.
February 13th.
She's passed now. She passed years ago. She wasn't supposed to live till past 3 or 4. She was born with a heart condition, and they in 1974 they replaced all of her arteries leading up to her heart. So they took this child of 2 years old, laid her on a table, and they cut open her skin and
Sliced her.
they peeled her back. So you could just imagine something laying there, just all of her skin from her wrist to her heart and from her feet to her heart, and replaced all the arteries. And so she wasn't supposed to live very long after that, but she did. But she did.
She was tough.
And she was a tough old girl.
Right.
And but growing up, she was purple. She had purple skin and very dark purple lips, and she was made fun of. So when I was 5 years old, and there was this teenager making fun of this girl that was my love, that was my sister.
Yeah, you don't make fun of a sister.
I ended up fighting. So it wasn't really a defense thing for me, but a protection thing
For somebody else.
for somebody else. So I admire that, and I'm sure that your wife feels safe at home with the knowledge that you have, and I'm sure your kids will grow up feeling that same safety. But I've always admired martial arts. I've never took. I played the football, I played the sports, never took up martial arts. I don't think it was available for me where I was living.
I hear there's a school in Stewart that you're
But
more than welcome to
now-
come down to.
So there is a school in Stewart
definitely need to promote that
definitely
at some
promote
point,
that.
right.
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, Scott, we are friends, so I know that you know that I have the little army of children.
Oh, yeah.
That could really fill up a class. Just if we came in, that would be one class. That would be,
Here comes the Hudson.
Here comes Hudson. But I do admire that, and I would like to. You and I have talked about the wrestling and getting into that with me. I've always had a knack
Heart for
for the wrestling. That's always been a great entertainment for the children and everything for me. But the martial arts, I really would like to get my kids into, and I think other people in Patrick County could really use that.
Right.
Because I hear, well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do in Patrick County. There's nowhere to bring your
Sports is a big thing in Patrick County. I will
is.
say
Right.
that
It is.
I will
with
say
baseball,
sports is a big thing.
with,
yeah.
It's really
martial
grown.
arts.
Yeah.
It's really
Fishing.
Right.
There's fishing.
Yeah.
right?
I
there's all
mean,
kinds of
just
things.
all kinds of sports.
But introducing them to something different is
Right.
there's not a lot of different things available, I don't think, for Patrick County. If that makes
Right.
sense. I mean, it's always been, you could be telling me if I'm wrong, but I've always thought it was more of a sport town. Like it was always football was the
It
thing,
is.
Right.
baseball,
Yeah.
soccer.
Right.
Oh God,
So-
they're solely behind the football.
But
They're behind a lot of
The
stuff.
baseball,
but
the baseball's
yeah,
really they're pushing.
And
yeah,
one of the
all of
things-
it. But the football, I mean, we've always been,
Trying.
it's Virginia, but Virginia's the mother of Texas.
right, and one of the
So
things
they
that we
say.
would like to help out with that area was, of course, in promoting a school and inviting people to come and try it out. But if I have the students that are doing more into baseball, more into basketball, they're in there for seasons, right?
Right.
So they may take karate for a season and they're out because then baseball starts, and soccer and things like that. They're out and back. But we've had a lot of people that would give us feedback on the fact that martial arts has helped them with their flexibility. It's helped
Right.
them with their speed. It's helped them with
Right.
their strength. It's helped them with those things.
With
that
their
help
mind,
them-
with their mindset.
right. That's even helped them in the sport that they love to do too.
Right.
And I love
So
the
it goes
fact
back
that
and forth.
she's the businesswoman. She's like she knew the days that now that
Right.
so in Stewart you have that available Tuesdays
And Fridays.
and Fridays. And what time frame?
I think Little Dragon starts at 5:15 now.
Now,
That's
Little
the
Dragons
preschool
is an
class.
age group
It's
between.
preschool. We would do for ages 3 to 5.
35.
Yep.
I've got plenty of those. I got a few of those.
Yeah, we do that at 5:15, and then we have the international the taekwondo class, more for the kicks. A lot of our early teens, 6 to So I said, well, 6 to 10.
I got a few of
Yeah,
those.
They love that class. It's more for kicks.
He's filling it up.
More of the kicking style, and they like a lot of jumping, kicking, things like that. More of the flashy, they like that. And then
The
we
tricky
have
stuff.
we have a Japanese Shotokan karate. Most of our teenagers and adults like that one. It's more to the ground, more hand techniques.
And I have a few of those.
And
So
we-
we
and
could
we-
really put somebody in each one of those classes.
And then also on our off nights at Baron Stewart on Thursdays, we have Krav Maga, which is a hand-to-hand tactical self-defense.
Really?
Going on up there too. One of my assistants is teaching that class there.
Wow.
And we have with a lot of our adults that doesn't want to get involved into the belt systems or learn, the martial arts system or styles. They want to do self-defense.
Self-defense
They
stuff.
can go right into that.
Wow.
And we had the same programs offered in Bassett. We do Bassett on Mondays and Thursdays, and we also have the same programs offered in Floyd.
Wow.
We do up
In
there on
Floyd.
Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we
So-
do 7 days a week.
So
every day.
you said Franklin County, but is
Yeah.
Floyd in Franklin County?
No, is
Floyd.
it Floyd?
It's Floyd
I'm
County,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
apologize.
It is Floyd County.
I did say
All right,
Franklin.
to call
It's
you out on that.
right there. Thank you.
How you like that?
It's Floyd and Henry.
How you like that? So
I got to be
Floyd
corrected.
down here in Bassett area and up there in
Patrick County.
Patrick County.
Yes.
That's great. That's
So before we
amazing.
get any further, I know we kind of jumped a little bit ahead because I wanted to make sure that we got, what you're doing and what your wife is doing here within those 3 counties. Floyd County is, okay, you're born and raised in it at 3 years old. What happened to the point to where you want to teach it? Let us know a little bit more about,
All right, so
if you wouldn't mind.
by the time I was around 8, I started really getting heavily into competitions, tournaments.
What belt were you at this time? I mean, so you start out your white belt on
Yes.
everything.
Right, I'm gonna say specifically in Taekwondo for this because I started doing more Taekwondo competitions.
So
I
Taekwondo,
was probably right at yellow or green, somewhere right
yellow
there.
green, yeah.
Started getting into tournaments, and we were on the circuit, and we were traveling. This is another reason we got out of the horses situation because we were traveling literally.
we-
Horses are expensive.
Every
They're
weekend.
just
My father was coaching me.
That's what I was going to say. Who's we? It's you and your
Well,
dad.
my father,
and-
yeah.
Okay.
My father was coaching me.
So he's seen what you were doing,
Right.
and then kind of inspired
right.
or wanted to push you to
Down
like,
to
let's do this
sport karate competitions
Right,
and tournaments,
right,
and you go
right,
out
right,
there
right.
and you present like weapon routines.
as you have too. I've seen you
right
so much.
fighting. You go out there and fight. You go out there and do your katas. And I spent a long time. I'm gonna say 7-8 years on the circuit competing. Every weekend or every other weekend, I was traveling to Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, New Orleans, Texas.
Wow.
We were going everywhere.
Yeah.
And during-
Southeast.
Right, all over the place.
Wow.
I actually earned several state titles along the way. It was 5 national titles I'd won.
Congratulations.
Won
That's cool.
a total of 7 world titles and competing. And so I tried out for the Olympic team in 1999. Unfortunately, I got injured.
Really?
Yeah, and it was for the 2000 Olympic
But
team.
that's
Oh,
just great.
wow.
That's just great
Trial.
to say,
Yeah.
right?
Right, yeah.
I mean,
It
I
is.
tried for the Olympics.
Amen.
So
right.
I spent all those years competing.
96 was Atlanta, so 2000 was.
Athens, I think. Was that Greece?
I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
if I
you're right.
remember.
I think you're
And
Yeah.
so I tried out for that, and fortunately, I was in my last match and got kicked in the spine. And was winning that fight and got kicked in the spine.
Man.
So
Wow.
wasn't
So
able
was
to
it
fulfill that.
Did you feel that it was intentional when it happened, or was it an act? Things can happen,
When
but
you're heat of the moment, you really don't know.
right,
Yeah.
you just rage with it.
Right, I was bitter for a long time about it because
He was probably the same way. He was probably like, he didn't do it intentional, but
Right.
you saw the
But
move.
you never know.
But
You
know,
saw the move.
You've seen Karate Kid.
right. I mean,
Sometimes,
Movies can be deception.
right. So anyway, that happened and is what it is. We moved forward with it, and just the Olympics just wasn't there for me at that point. And the good thing is I was able to rehab for a while. Go back the next year, I competed in the World Championships
Awesome.
in New Orleans, and
Wow.
actually had a chance to fight that kid back and knocked him out in 30 seconds.
yeah, that's what I like.
So
So yeah, he
So,
did kick you
right.
on the spine personally, and you kicked his butt.
So yeah, I stayed very heavily for many years competing. And I wanted my father with his school. He was, running like down in Bassett. It was just literally a small garage of 4 or 5 people he was working with.
Yeah.
I was helping at the time. Some people that listen to this may remember at the Holiday Shopping Center, Harold Gravely.
Okay.
Was teaching there at the Holiday Shopping Center.
Yeah, I remember Harold.
He actually was the first instructor that I can remember that opened up a Taekwondo school in Stewart on Main Street, where my school currently is.
It currently is, yeah.
And me and him actually kind of.
So you probably know Ronnie Ferguson.
Oh yes,
too,
I knew Ronnie
right?
Master Ferguson for many years.
Yeah, me
so,
too.
my father, in the Shotokan system, he got aged where he just, in health wise, he just couldn't really continue to teach. When I earned my black belt, it was in around 1996, 1997 when I earned my black belt in Shotokan. I think it's 96 I earned it in Shotokan, 97 in Taekwondo.
Wow.
I was helping Mr. Gravely run his school and teach. He actually gave me the opportunity and some experience of, hey, trusted me.
So
to
I'm
teach
sorry.
a
I'm
class.
sorry. I'm interrupting you, and I do this constantly. But for somebody to, and you just went meagerly over that you earned your black belt, but that is a lot of work.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, people don't know. Even me, I don't have a black belt in anything, but I have seen and know.
I'm pretty sure I have a black belt.
A brother of mine.
I bought it at Walmart for $22.
No, a brother of mine.
have
He
one
was
on
20.
myself right now.
Yeah, he was 23 years old, and he was with Ronnie Ferguson for years, and he got his black belt. I mean, that is a lot of dedication and work to get into. I mean, it's just not something you just want to. You can say, "Well, I got my black belt," and you did, but I mean, to me, it's like I know what it took. Like, I got friends that are Marines, and they go, "Yeah, I was U.S. Marine." I'm like, man, Paris Island, you went down there. I mean, it was like shit. Like, you got to dig through and be able to get to where you are. And a black belt, I would say, a little bit more than just what they have to go through. I mean, it's just
So it's hours and hours and days.
hours,
and I trained,
years of dedication to be able to get.
And I was training 7 days a week for several hours.
Right,
a
and
day.
I didn't want you to just just hypothetically just go right over the cross and say, I earned my black belt in Shotokan, and this is.
Well, see, that's what you grab from the story, and I too can appreciate what it took to get that black belt.
Holy mackerel!
But what I gathered from what he was saying was, I mean, that was when your teacher said, "Hey, you're good at teaching yourself." Mm-hmm. That's what I grabbed from
too.
that.
Right.
I was like, that's just as impressive as a black belt.
I had trained with
Regardless of what
Mr.
it
Gravely as well in his classes. And a lot of times it wasn't just at my father's school. I was traveling to all these schools around the area. I was part of what's called the Kim School of Taekwondo with Master Preston Rogers is in this area now, still teaching. We all trained together. And I mean, I was at a karate school almost every single day. If I was in a karate school training, I was at my father's school on a Sunday training on that day didn't have a class. If there was a class going on in Danville, Charlotte, Martinsville, Henry County, I was there every single day. So,
but it's so easy to say, and people don't know the dedication that it takes to get and achieve that level.
Right.
And I didn't want you to just simply say it
without
me, without me saying.
Oh, and then I got my black belt, and then it's,
like it's no big deal.
no, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
But,
But
like I
those
said,
aren't the only black belts you have.
no, I
Right.
also earned
And
black
there's
belts
more
in
to
other
it.
systems over the years. Like, and that's what I was. If there was a karate school or a place I was training every day of the week, I did it.
Wow.
And so I earned it in Taekwondo. I've earned it in Shotokan. I've earned it in Aikido. I've earned it in Judo. It's about 7, and I'm working on my Krav Maga currently right now.
Wow.
And for me, it's
I'm
never,
about to get my ass kicked after the show. That's what I'm about to do.
You're good.
But going back before I forget, like,
I feel unprotected.
but like I said, Mr. Gravely had asked me about, hey, would you mind running a class for me one day a week?
So we saw
classes.
something.
Right.
He really saw. When a teacher hands down the baton, or when a teacher sees somebody, that's what I brought up.
Right.
That I find very admiring.
Yeah, so I started off, like I said, I was teaching at my father's school. I was teaching for him. I was teaching for Mr. Gravely. I was also teaching for another gentleman that was teaching Shotokan here that my father had trained with over the years in Phildale.
And so what
And
year? Can we just give it?
It was after it was around 96, 97, all the way up until
So
early.
the end, almost 2000.
Yeah, and early 2000s, and then at the time I kind of transitioned in '97 when my father, because after I earned my black belt in that system, my father ended up kind of, all right, you're gonna take the reins here, and he was still there observing, but he kind of was, you take the reins now of teaching the Taekwondo and Shotokan at my school.
Right.
So I started doing that in Bassett, and then helping some of the other instructors in the area, and then it got to the point to where Bassett was picking up in attendance. People were wanting to sign up and join,
Right.
And it got to the point for me that I couldn't continue to really dedicate helping the other instructors. So I ended up adding nights down in Bassett and started doing Taekwondo, Shotokan, and some other things down in Bassett, and we pretty much just made it a full thing for Bassett.
Wow.
With just kind of start off me helping other people, and then we kind of just grew our own thing. The Bassett location.
Homegrown.
One of the things I was
family.
proud about with the Bassett location, it started off as my father teaching 4 or 5 students in a garage, a two garage building.
Right.
Right there in Bassett.
Right there in Bassett, where you literally you had people that remember training back then. Remember back then, you had to open up the garage door. That's your heat and air. You had
That's your heat in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sweep the concrete out. The
Right.
floor to go out there and do your training.
Yes, sir.
And the other side was where you kept his tools and stuff at.
That's great.
Now, over the years, fast forward, it's we remodeled it and did all kinds of things to it. Now it's a martial arts studio.
So now you got Bassett, Floyd, and Patrick County.
Right.
And you're doing that. So you got like a 2-for-1 deal. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but we'll go back to it a little bit. But you got a 2-for that. That was just maybe for Valentine's Day.
For the rest of February.
For rest
Yeah,
of
we'll do it
February.
for the rest of February. 2-for-1 special. 2 people, one's family members. If you have brothers or sisters or a husband, wife, or anybody, in the family.
2-for-1.
It's a 2-for-1. Come and join the class for the month, and you just pay one price.
Well, I
You
can
can
tell
mix
you.
and match your classes, like if you have a preschooler and then an adult.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the same class.
Okay.
So it's little dragons
Just 2
in.
for 1.
Right.
Right. For the first time in my life,
A new producer,
we got a new producer.
Chad Hall himself.
What I was going to say, for the first time in my life, I got a
What?
finger from a pastor.
So that's 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes, but
So we'll take a break after 2 minutes.
yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about what everything you got to do, and want to explore a little bit more of your history, if you don't mind.
Sure, do that.
We ain't got to the wrestling yet. We'll get
And
into
we ain't got
that.
to the Mrs. history. And
Yeah,
when they
I
met.
know her too.
Right.
Yeah,
We got more to talk about.
A whole lot more to talk about. Thank y'all for joining us. If you would, hit that like, hit that subscribe. It really helps us. Good Lord, you hear it on I watch YouTube too, and I'm like, man.
Do you watch our show?
Yeah.
What do you
I
think about it? Pretty good.
It's good. When it has audio, it's awesome.
Hey, y'all name our chicken. You guys got a name for our
Oh,
chicken?
yeah.
He's a rooster. He's a male chicken.
He's a male
And
chicken.
If you come up with
I'm
a
not
name,
playing with his waddles anymore, because one time I was like,
that was gross.
yeah, he was like,
He was over there playing with the boys' waddles. That ain't
right,
no
I was
good.
doing this. Is like, you're playing with the man's waddles. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. But I mean,
But what we're doing, if you just throw out a name and we write it down, and if we pick
put it
it,
in the comment
we
section.
put it in the comment section.
Subscribe if you don't
Subscribe.
mind.
You got to subscribe.
Yeah, you got to. Please. It helps. We're not trying to make no money off of it.
Luis, is that what you're going to name him?
Luis.
Look at there he is. Oh, Luis. I love it.
Luis the chicken.
But you'll win a $40 gift certificate for Hugo's
Yeah.
over there in Martinsville.
Yeah,
So,
$4 gift certificate.
and it doesn't have to be a collaboration. You could pick a name, and you could pick a name. Whoever gets it, who gets it.
Right, right.
But we'll be back after this break.
We will. Thank you. If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And we're back. Thank you for joining us here on the Be Real, the podcast. Thank you if you would.
Oh, I like how you did that. The podcast.
Podcast.
That was good.
Be Real. Period.
Who
The
we got here?
podcast.
Who's with us?
They are.
Bring them back into.
They're great friends of
Conversation.
ours. Thank you for coming out here and putting up with us and being real. You know, they
You
are
want a
local.
lifesaver? A kiss?
They're local business people, and they are. You know, Scott. We've had him on the show a couple times, but he's been Scott Lee,
The Dragon.
which he is. but
through and through. I'm
now
sure.
it's Scott Rutter and his wife. I mean, they have dug in. They've dedicated their lives local family, dedicated their lives to Floyd, Patchett County, and Henry County, and just I mean, really, they have. And so anybody that's doing anything for the local people, I am definitely for. I'm not against local businesses at all. This is a unique business. This is something that teaches the kids integrity, respect, self-defense, a lot of things that we need in this day and age.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I'm extremely grateful for these folks, and their whole family's dedicated to it. Their little girls are into it. I mean, they just they're 100%. So I'm grateful, grateful for it, grateful for them. So to y'all again, thank you for coming out here.
Thank you for having us again.
Yeah, Scott. So let's go back a little bit. You were talking about getting into your dad run a class in the area.
He was running the Bassett location just in just a small little garage.
Right. And so you got into it, and you see there was a need, which there is a need for it. And so how do you get from, was that strictly one place? That was Bassett. So you still got Bassett, but how do you get into Stewart? How you get into Floyd?
Well, originally I was built up the Bassett location. People was hearing a lot about it, and then the area between Patchett County and Floyd, there was no martial arts studio.
We're all the same people.
Yeah, that they didn't. Floyd had to go all the way to Christiansburg or go somewhere further to do classes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I was having I had a family of 4 that was coming from Floyd to Bassett twice a week to do classes because there's no other place around in Floyd in the area at that time teaching classes.
Really?
So they kept on me and on me and on me. They were like, "You're going to have to come up." There's really, if you would come up to Floyd and open up a martial arts studio, you would do so well because there's nothing here. There was,
Right.
and so I can't remember what year that is, but you may help remember on that
Well,
one.
so
2011. We ended up. Ask her a date. She's got
I
it.
love it.
So in
The
2011,
businesswoman, I'm sure.
Right.
we
Banquet planning.
Got to have that support.
There we go.
I love
right.
it.
I took the plunge and opened up a school there, and
Where's it at in Floyd?
it's on Main Street.
Oh,
off
it
of
is.
Main Street in
This
Floyd.
is
So you
main-
got the only stoplight in Floyd. Make a left for coming from our direction is round the left when you.
Okay.
So.
Down the hill a little. Does it go down
it's
the
Yeah,
hill
yeah.
a
next
little
to
bit
right
there?
next to
I
Chicks
guess.
next to the antique store, the Chicks Antiques.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So we've been there total in Floyd since 2011.
Wow.
Been blessed with that group. They took us in. They loved it. So we've been there ever since.
So you're talking about 13 years. I
Right.
mean, for some of us, I'm like 2011. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if you
good
think about it,
Lord,
it's
next
been
thing I
13
know, I look
years.
at the garage. I mean, I look at
Right.
the calendar, and I'm like, it's 2024.
So I was running 2 days a week at each location, Bassett and Floyd, and I was working a full-time job at that time, as well as running the karate schools. And then we had.
What was your full-time job, if you don't mind me sneaking into your private life?
It's okay. I actually worked. Was a counselor for Piedmont Community Services.
Oh,
here
yeah,
in this area. I
okay,
actually worked
yeah.
counseling. I started off counseling, working with kids in the therapeutic day
Right.
treatment program. I worked later on too.
We just had Dana DeHart out here on
I've
the
known
show.
Dana for a long time,
I'm sure
yep,
you know
yep.
Dana, and you
Worked-
probably know Brad Haynes.
Yep, sure do.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
worked the mental health skill building and the psycho rehabilitation program.
Nice.
Psychosocial
Oh, that's
rehabilitation. So
Oh,
did all that.
wow.
So
Huh.
did that for a while. Running.
See,
yeah.
most people when you're talking to them, and I am interrupting you again, but most
He does
people,
that well. He
I
just
do it well.
Talk,
But I mean, so many people have so much to give to the community and giving back to Patchett County and the other areas also. I mean, I love Patchett County. But Henry County, Franklin County, whatever, Floyd. People give so much back to that area, and then they just kind of go over it really quick. And I'm like, wait a minute. That took some effort and some
Right.
time to care about those people in that area. And those are my people. As long as, it's your people too, and your people too. I mean, we wouldn't care if it wasn't. And so a lot more people need to care about the people in our area. So it's great to meet people like you that actually,
Well, they
you
say
want to
that-
run a business. I mean, everybody's like, like Chad, he's into Boys Holland Veterinary Services. He's been there for 27 years now plus, and you want to run that business, but you also want to run that business because you love the people.
Right.
You would, I mean, it would have died with Lock Boyce in 2020.
Right.
And I hate to use him as a prime example, but he's sitting right here looking at me. But people would have, I mean, anybody else that I know of in my life experience, and I've been here 46 years almost in May, have said that they cared for Patrick County, Locke cared for Patrick County. For somebody to take over a business and to say, I want to, I mean, of course you got to make money because you want to support your employees and you want your employees to have a great life, but you have a responsibility to the community in general. And there's very few left of that, I do believe. Very few left of people that I've met in my life anyway, 46 years, and I'm secluded to a little part of Patrick County. I get around. I got a lot of family and friends in other places, but it's just a lot of people are in it for the money. Right. And when I meet somebody that's in it for making the community better place, not just a business, but a business that involves the community, I have to speak out.
Well, I appreciate.
I mean, this is my damn platform, and this is our platform, and we have a platform, and we want to speak. And so, when you come out here, and we invite you to come out here, I mean, it just I love it. I love it, and so I want people to know that you are not only there because you love what you do, but you want everybody else to experience it in our community.
Well, that and the fact, like when I was doing this, of course, you know, going into Floyd,
right,
opening up the studio there, I was running 4 days a week, working the full-time job with Piedmont Community Services.
Wow.
So it was a great place to work for. It was awesome working with the people.
Yeah, they're great people.
I do miss that work. I miss that job.
Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do.
Right. But then we started getting into, what year was this when Stewart? 2017.
Beautiful. Love it. That support.
As a
Now,
woman.
see that support that you have for her, I mentioned earlier.
Great woman.
Great. And then, you know, there's that saying that you're only as successful as the friends that you have. And
Amen.
you, my friend, every comment you make has something to do with the children. Every comment you make has something to do with our future.
Right.
And that's the people I want to be around.
Well, that's
Me
kind
too.
of that's kind of like, you know, like I said, when we opened up there in Stewart, I literally didn't have the time. I did not have the time to that I thought that I could devote to run that school or run that. It started off being 1 day a week for like an hour. And then we started increasing. And then things happened, and we ended up took the school over. But after COVID, we could. I know the wrestling program that was there couldn't continue.
Yeah.
And we made the decision.
That was Chad.
Yeah, Lang.
Chad
Chad Lang.
And there you
Not
go.
Chad Hall, not Chad Hudson, the other Chad.
So
many damn Chads in my life.
There's only one Chad. Yeah.
Sorry,
Chad Hall.
There's only one Chad. The other ones are just Chad.
But it got to the point we took that over. We ended up found out we were expecting our first one, Jacqueline. And it got to the point where we got to just thinking about it. It was like, okay, it's all falling into place. This is your passion. Like, this is a job over here, but this is your passion.
Amen.
And the fact that I could take some of the things that I've learned along the way with Piedmont Community Services and with the mental health field and learning how to work with individuals with different needs, that I could still take that and apply that with the martial arts and the kids.
Right.
And, you know, I have the best
Or
job in
younger.
the world right now because I get to teach people my passion in martial arts, and I get to be there and not only wrestle and things like that when I have the opportunity, but I get to be there with my kids every day and be the stay-at-home dad now.
And that passion is what triggers me. When I worked for Lock Boyce, there were several different jobs that I was offered that could have made more money.
Right.
I was passionate about what I did for the animals. As years went on, I realized that I wasn't just helping the animals, that I was helping people.
Right.
Those animals have owners.
And yourself.
Well,
Right. But those animals have owners, and the passion of taking care of people and taking care of the animals, that led me to what I'm doing now. One of
my mentors,
that's what God made you for.
One of my mentors also used to tell me, like, people are there initially for the martial arts, but they're there buying not really buying it, but they're there. They stick with you because of the relationship that you've built
Right.
with them.
Right.
And they see
Right.
the passion that you're dealing and how you're working with their kids and how you're teaching
Yes.
them, and not only, and even the adults too. You build that relationship with them, and they're there for they'll be there
Years.
loyal for years.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're about is building
I love
relationships too.
I love it. So you got a place in Floyd.
Right,
I
Floyd.
keep, darn it. Got a place in Bassett.
That's it.
Got a place in Patrick County.
Patrick County, Stewart off of Main Street.
So up until the end of February, you have a 2-for-1.
Yep, 2-for-1 special.
Explain that a little bit more if you wouldn't mind.
Well, if you interested in classes and you want to come in, 2 people can come in and join. Doesn't matter if it's husband, wife, father, son. It doesn't matter.
2 for
the
1.
2 for
What she
1,
was saying,
right.
which class, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter
It
which
could be
class
a,
you join. Like if one wants to do Taekwondo or Shotokan, and if you also have a child that's 3 to 5 but can't go into the Taekwondo or Shotokan because of the age, then they can do separate classes.
And so fast forward, we are sitting in 2024 now, listening to you here in February, almost March. What's your titles now? Of course, Grand Master. What does Grand Master mean?
The best way I could describe it, when you go to college, you get your bachelor's degree, and then you move on to your master's degree, and you work into your doctorate
PhD.
degree, kinda like
doctorate,
that, right?
your PhD, right?
So I've earned what's called a 7th degree in Taekwondo and Shotokan. Actually, it's actually in
Wow.
American Karate, which kind of ties both of them together.
And that's black belt.
Right, in 7th level, 7th degree.
7-degree
And
black
that's
belt.
what's actually called a
Watch your
junior
mouth, boy.
junior grandmaster.
I'm just quitting right now.
And it's just a title. It's almost like I would say you've mastered the art of the system, but
Amen.
That is
yeah,
great.
you're the senior master instructor. pretty much.
Right. Right. I love it. All right. So, okay, just back up. Well,
No, we backed up, we forward. We went sideways, we went
I do the
original way.
sideways stuff.
Now we need to talk to the missus.
to the missus.
Yep.
I'll
We're-
let you conduct that.
Oh, I'm going to conduct it.
Well, I mean,
I don't know where to
guessing-
start.
I don't either.
Usually we start, where'd y'all meet?
Where'd you meet this guy?
Where'd you meet this guy, this
Right.
Grand Master Funk?
Did he kick you into submission
And do
with his love?
you take any martial arts? Was this
How'd this
something?
happen?
That's
what-
not how we met, but I do. Well, I did. I've been out for a while,
Yeah.
babies and stuff.
Babies
Right.
happen to-
Oh, that's
Babies are number one.
priority. Number
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Absolutely. But that's not where you met. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
Tell us
sorry.
about it.
Where'd you meet this guy at,
On the
if you don't mind?
internet.
Oh,
On the internet.
holy moly!
He was
really?
Grand Master Funk of the internet.
We're
So-
millennials.
Okay, right. I don't know nothing about that. So you
What was his
are
name?
you-
Grandmaster XXX33.
are you from the area as well, or
I'm from Franklin County, so there you go.
there's your Franklin
A little bit of Franklin in there now.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Franklin.
Yep, my dad's family's actually from Woolwine, so there's my Patrick County.
Oh, there you
And my
go.
mom's family's from Franklin County, so
Okay,
I grew up
yeah.
in Ferrum.
Cool. Yeah, well, we love Ferrum.
and what year did you meet him? How old were you?
Oh, you
How-
got the- you got-
I was almost 30 when I
Yeah.
met him.
Really?
So, yeah. Been 8 years.
So, you're 38 years old?
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was like 25. She's going to I met him when I was 13.
Oh, no.
No, if you do that, this would be a whole different.
That's that whole different Patrick County.
That was the habit. Thank God, staying on air took a couple more days.
That's my favorite story, though, because
Please tell
I
us.
would come and, hang out before he made me start doing classes.
He made
and-
you.
Made you, yeah.
Yeah, he made me. So I would come and hang out before classes and stuff and write receipts and whatever,
Check out
like
the-
I did when your grandson
Check
was
out
in
the
class.
beard, the beard and that bald head of his. Yeah.
Exactly, right.
Right.
So it was 2017. We got married that summer, and so about that spring somewhere in there, he started announcing, I'm not going to be in class. We're taking the week off. We're going to Vegas and get married and
Vegas.
all this stuff.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
big
wow.
Elvis fan. I didn't know.
Me too.
Hey, we're gonna do that then.
hey,
Us three are gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Caught in a draft. I can't walk out because I love you too
Oh,
much,
now you started.
baby.
You
I know,
started
right?
it. It's
Oh,
over
I'm
now.
sorry.
So
Viva Las Vegas.
he's like, we're gonna go and we're gonna be out of town for a week and whenever we get married. And so this lady that's been bringing her kid for like a couple months now, she grabs me and she's like, "You're marrying Master Rutter?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I thought you were his daughter."
Oh, wow.
Not a happy moment. All that.
I tell Katie, my missus, we went on our, I think, third date, and we stopped at a convenience store, and I was drinking and smoking, doing bad things.
Really?
Yeah, and they carded me, and
do
they,
that?
yep, sometimes, and sometimes, and they would not sell me the beer because she didn't have her ID on her.
Oh.
But the girl behind the counter was like, "Is that your daughter?" And I felt about this big. I was like, "Oh my God." That's how it looks.
Well,
So
I was your son like a month ago. Wasn't
Shut the hell up.
Remember
that? We went, where
we
was
were
that?
somewhere. We
Is
were
that your
somewhere.
son? That's your son there?
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, oh, damn.
I love your dad. I love him too, man. I love my dad.
I was like, oh, Lord. I must really look old. Damn.
Damn.
So now you took classes when you guys first got together. Or how would you explain that to women out there that haven't involved themselves into martial arts? What would they look forward to? Like for me, I think I could hold my own. Whether I do or whether I don't, that's street fighting. That's up to whatever. But I would really like my missus and my children to learn how to defend themselves.
Amen.
In a setting like that, because I could sit there every night when I come home and I was like, look, just knock them in the or just bite their ear.
Right.
But
right,
but
right.
what did you get out of it as a woman
And I'm
in the
5
martial
feet
arts?
tall, 5 even,
Right.
so I'm little.
Right.
And so I like the self-defense aspect of it too. Sparring's not my favorite. I really don't like the sparring. He knows that. But I like the forms and stuff because it's something I can, plan. And I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm supposed to do. Sparring is too spontaneous for me. I don't know what they're going to do. But I really
They
like
don't
the
either.
self-defense. We used to do more of like a routine, but now he switched it more to the Krav stuff is kind of incorporated instead.
Now what is
So
that?
It's called Krav Maga. It's a self-defense system that's more it came from Israel, Israeli style,
Yeah, it's Redley.
right? And it's more tactical defenses.
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
It's like instead of like this is the situation, they hit you with this, that, and the other, then it's okay, you're in this situation, this happened, so this is what you do. So
Right.
it's kind of more applicable to whatever.
Everyday scenarios versus.
So you're coming into a martial arts class, and you're learning self-defense techniques, a way to block.
Before you get married.
But while you do this, you're also getting your cardio. Your heart rate's up, I'm sure. So we're dealing with not only a mental fix, but also a physical fix.
Right.
So you're kind of working both things at once.
Exactly right.
And I think that's good for people to realize that you're not just, you could go to one of these Zumbas, what are they called?
Zumba.
And you're doing, it's all physical.
Yoga.
And I'm sure that there's some mental release in that. But when you're actually learning something
Right.
and you're using something that might
Over and
help
over and
you
applying
over and
it.
again.
It's gonna help you in
Yeah.
everyday life, but it's also you're learning as well, and not just going through a routine.
Right.
Right.
So I think that's something for maybe some new people. Like I said, Katie, that could be great for her for mentally. She has to deal with 5 kids at the house and 1 on the way.
Yeah.
She has to, not that I'm saying I want her to be a black belt so she could just knock the hell out. We are just bop. Can I have an ice cream? No, bop, bop. No, not just that, but
I'll see you
but
next
mentally,
week, Chad. Literally.
to get a break, right.
She'll knock you in the next week. I'll see you later, man.
To get a break from the kids, to go in a situation where she's using her physical body, and she's learning something and learning techniques, and that's very useful to the brain. So I could see where that could just
Right.
really
and
help
that,
out.
and that
the
is a piece,
situation.
and it's also a peace of mind. I mean, the fact, as being a father and being a husband, yourself, would be a good peace of mind knowing that your wife is learning how to defend herself.
Amen.
'Cause,
Oh, God.
we can't be there all the time.
Yes.
And at the same time, I've always said that all females, teenagers, girls, actually anybody, but more females need to
Right.
learn some type of self-defense.
Yes, they do.
I have two daughters.
Unfortunately, live in a world where that is needed.
Right, I have two daughters,
Greatly
and
needed.
it was not only. It was next month. It will be 6 years that I've had my first daughter, and my second daughter is now 2. My life changed when I had
Amen.
her.
Amen.
I look at things differently
Yes.
now
Right.
than I did
Right.
before then.
Right.
And I really, my anxiety would cease if they were stepping up, learning
Right.
things to defend themselves.
There was some
So
that
not
was,
only that class would help her, if my daughter was in your school, not only would it help her, but it would also help me.
Right.
My anxiety would
Gives you peace of mind knowing
give
that
me a
they're
peace of
trained right.
mind.
And I'm not a fan of celebrity, but I just saw this article recently because I'm into the news thing, and it's just, I'm inundated with all this news stuff. But Sylvester Stallone, don't matter. But anyway, his daughters moved to New York, and he had Navy SEALs actually train his daughters before they went to New York. He was worried for their safety, so he had them with the martial arts and everything before they actually moved to New York City.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
do too. I do
Having
too. I was like,
daughters, I get it.
20 years ago when I was watching still, or Rambo in the 80s, I was like, screw him,
Oh,
whatever.
Rambo.
But I mean,
Rambo was
now
my
it's
shit.
like,
I'll tell you.
right. But now when I see it, I was just like, man, it's just,
That
I
makes
don't
sense.
care for celebrities, but that makes sense.
And not only
Right.
not only
I feel the same.
the protection of them,
Right.
but
They can
the
do it for
anxiety of
themselves.
yourself.
Peace of
You know,
Amen.
something for you.
Amen. I go to sleep a little bit easier because they
Right.
know how to defend themselves. All my
You've had students contact you after they went to college.
Yeah, I've actually had several students. I've had one in particular that had, after she trained, earned her black belt in Taekwondo, ended up was in her first year, I think it was her first semester at Bradford. And I remember she just called me up out of the blue and was almost in tears. And she thanked me for because I can be strict in classes when I need to be.
Right.
But-
And I appreciate that
Yeah,
a lot. That's truth, and I love it.
And but she thanked me for the, I guess the tough love over the that I
Right.
gave her and stuff, and then the martial arts of teaching her self-defense and all that, because
Amen.
she had actually gotten attacked
Oh, wow.
on the campus, and she ended up, was able to defend herself
So, dude,
and work. I had one kid that wasn't, she knows what I'm talking about on this one because she was there with me at the house when it happened. But,
yeah.
had a kid that was behavioral. He was in trouble all the time in school. Stayed in trouble consistently, fighting all the time. And
Poor
then
guy.
I was able to mentor him, work with him, martial arts, give him structure, give him the discipline. And he had told me, after many years after we had lost contact for a little bit, and then we had reconnected. Matter of fact, he invited us to come stay with them at the beach because they were stationed there at the beach. He was in the Navy, and he was very successful with it. And he telling us, hey, if it wasn't for the discipline and what you instilled in me,
See, that's what I'm
we
talking
wouldn't. I
about.
wouldn't have made it.
That's what I'm
I
talking
wouldn't have
about.
gotten through the basic training. I wouldn't be able to be
man.
successful and be able to get my life straight.
Ain't that something?
Well,
I mean, that's what you
I like
work
to
for.
think about that. We all brought up the children, and what honorable that is for me. Of course, I have 8 children, and we talked about the ladies, our women in the world. But what I also see with the martial arts, and what I've seen with you, and just that story that you just said, males are born with masculinity in them, and born with the urge to protect weaker individuals or protect themselves, and I think that is important.
Amen.
In today's society where masculinity is kind of looked down upon, but I think we
It's
just
getting
need
pushed
to
down,
we
yeah,
just
it
need to
is.
learn how to control it and learn how to defend our thoughts in our head to where we're
Right.
not violent people, that we are respectable men, that if violence occurs and we need to
Step up.
step up, that we can, but we also have the control of not being a bully.
And that's what
not
makes a man a man. I
not
mean,
being too masculine,
right. That's what makes a
aggressive.
man a man.
You know, so I like that's very
Totally agree
interesting.
with
And you
that.
got the whole package there
Right.
that
Try. Thank you.
take care of everything.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate y'all.
And then you
Before
know,
we,
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry.
I just keep on rattling my
No,
mouth,
me too.
brother.
Amen.
We'll do it.
Hell, you know me. Before we run out of time, where did the wrestling come in? You have a great friend in Stewart. He's recently passed away. I think
Ken Steele.
Ken Steele,
Ken Steele,
a few
yeah.
years ago. But how did that friendship start, and that got you into wrestling? I mean, it's a whole different subject.
Right. When I first started training in wrestling, I trained in Shawsville at Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant's
Now,
camp.
Shawsville's up here near Roanoke.
Elliston, up past
And that's a big
Christiansburg.
school.
Yeah.
I heard they put out a lot of people. through
Yep,
there.
I was started training up there, and he happened to come to the camp, and
So what brought that on? What brought? Hey, I would like to go wrestle.
it's something different. I did martial
I
arts
love
my
it.
entire life.
Yeah.
Now,
I
as a
won-
kid,
I-
were you
right, I
were you
won-
watching wrestling as
I was.
a kid?
Oh yeah, I was.
Me
I
too.
was yes, I was a big wrestling fan growing up as a kid.
the Slim Jim.
Yeah,
Woo! Okay.
Sorry.
We that's fine.
but I was a big time wrestling fan. Enjoyed it. It was always something. Man, it'd be kind of cool to do that one day.
Right?
Yeah.
And at the time, I mean, we didn't know how could you. There was nothing around here that you
Right.
could actually
Right.
get into. So accomplished everything I could at that time in martial arts, and was like, I want to try something different.
Amen.
So it was around 2001, 2002, and I went to the camp. Did that for a while, and all of a sudden the Machine Ken Steele walks in. He was running his promotion, which is currently in ICW, which I now own. And we hit it off, and he actually got me booked on some of his shows in Floyd that he was running, not Franklin County, but Floyd, and some other places he was doing in Carolina.
Damn,
He
we
got
keep
me,
throwing it up.
And we
all
will from now on.
Sling it.
right?
Sling it.
And it took off. Like I said, the rest of we've traveled for almost 20 years on the road all the time together. Was best friends, close friends. I was almost like a father figure for me when my father passed away.
Man, you need that guy in your life.
Yeah, so he taught me a lot in pro wrestling, and that's pretty much how I got started with wrestling.
Awesome.
And we've held tag titles around all of different promotions. We traveled up and down the road every weekend doing a show somewhere.
Right.
And matter of fact, he was a big part of me opening up the Floyd location for the martial arts.
Really?
He was. We opened it up to where he was training people in wrestling, and I was training
Oh,
martial
wow.
arts. He also had a little tennis salon there in Floyd that he
Wow.
was running on the side business there too. And unfortunately, a few years ago, we lost him. He passed
Yeah.
away due to diabetes complications with juvenile diabetes.
Right.
And I took over the NICW, and here we are. We're now
Here we are.
we're promoting trying
love
to
it.
keep his vision alive and his dream alive with
So
NICW and promoting the shows now.
With that being said, you do have a show coming up.
Mardi Gras Brawl.
We have a couple. Yeah, we actually have coming up in March. On March the 2nd. It's not
March the
really
2nd.
It's not really a show we're advertising for the public. It's more of a private show that we're doing for a church in Eden.
Really?
That's
in
great.
Eden, North Carolina. They're doing something for like a camp that they're doing for their. So
Really?
we're doing something just as a
Wow.
just entertainment for them.
Yeah.
But we will
I
be
love it.
posting pictures, highlights of things that happen on that one, but it's not really open for the public. But later, March the 30th, in Stewart, Virginia, at the Rotary Memorial Building, we'll be doing the Mardi Gras Brawl 2.
Right there at the fairgrounds.
And this would
Fairgrounds.
and this would be a tribute. The second show we're doing is going to do this every year, and this is going to be a tribute show in memory of Kenny Pack or the Machine Ken
Oh,
Steele.
yeah.
Now the first one last year that you did, the Mardi Gras Brawl, that I believe was a success for the fans. I wasn't a part of it. I wasn't a part of the behind the scenes, or I would like to be a part of it. But to listen to the fans that were talking weeks after the show.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
high dollar show for up there in Stewart.
They love it. They love
They
it.
truly
But
loved
you
it.
got
They love
to
it.
remember you were a part of that because if it
Well,
wasn't
he
for,
was.
wasn't,
Well,
wasn't,
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
for it wasn't for you.
See, he's,
I would have been the NICW
he's playing it
champion.
off a little bit.
No,
like both of y'all, you know.
I do. I've always appreciated wrestling. When I was a kid, my stepfather would sit there on Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, and watch wrestling, and it was good entertainment.
Hulkmania.
It was good entertainment, and at the time, I didn't know it was already kind of staged, so I really bought up into it. But you guys put on a great show for the crowd.
Very
And
athletic.
very athletic people. I mean, people are jumping off the. Right, I'd be over there breathing. But everyone that performed or everyone that wrestled in that show that I witnessed
Great
was
people.
just top-notch people.
Yeah. They put on a show totally worth what you pay
and
for
I don't
it.
think I love the Mardi Gras Brawl especially because for us that's a tribute to Kenny Pack that
Yes.
grew up in Patrick County.
Right. Right
lived-
there on Woodland
Well,
Drive.
that's what I was
Right,
saying.
Woodland
I
Floyd.
think everyone during that show gave a
it
little
was-
extra.
Right, because
more.
everybody on
did.
that show loved and respected them.
They
and,
did.
And that was special for us, and that's something we want to keep doing every year
Right.
for Patrick County because for once we remember him, they want to honor him every year.
Amen.
And I think we did several shows in Stewart, and we were very blessed with the turnout. Was it 4 shows, 3 shows we done in
Yeah,
three?
three.
We done in Stewart.
Yeah.
At least 3.
And
least
I know we
3.
did one here, and we've been blessed with the turnout.
Yeah, out there at
and
Patrick Henry.
right, the positive, everybody I've talked to since then is, I've actually having people the last several months. What are you gonna do another show? When's another show coming? When's another show coming?
love
they
that.
want it. They want it back in Patrick County.
Yes.
They love it,
And we're doing it.
and that's what we want to do.
Y'all are doing it.
We want to bring the entertainment value to it, but we want to again. People say there's nothing
Right.
to do. We want families to come out and enjoy the show, and it's
Right.
a family-oriented show, and all of our wrestlers work hard, and
Amen.
hopefully
Well, the
we can
pastors
move it
gave
every
me a
year.
finger. I
Who
think about
did?
the pastor about 3 minutes ago for 2 minutes.
No, he didn't. I didn't
Yeah,
see him.
yeah. I miss Shania, but we got the finger from the pastor now, so thoroughly enjoy him. Appreciate you,
Thank you so
man.
much.
More than
Appreciate
you know.
it. Yeah.
More than you
Yes,
know,
sir.
man. Appreciate you, Rox.
Hey,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming
Great
out.
meeting you. I mean, I've seen you around, but it's great talking to you. I wish we had a little bit more time to talk to you.
Yeah.
But how do you compete with the show over here?
I just do whatever.
He is the show.
He is the
I love
show.
him. Scott Rutter. We greatly appreciate y'all again. You coming out. You going to be on March, what'd you say? for
March
Stewart?
30th over here.
March 30th.
March the 30th in
Yeah.
Stewart.
Mardi
Just-
Gras
just-
2.
Yeah, we'll start having the flyers out probably the next little bit. So ticket
We'll promote
sales
it.
and everything, and we'll
We'll promote
reach
here
out.
on Be Real. So thank y'all for listening to us. Thank you for putting up with us. Be real.
You all be real and come on back.
Come on back.